Please give him a warm Arbonne welcome. John O'Leary. Love you, John.
Love you.
Take it away, buddy.
Thank you, Arbonne. Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, what a joy, pure joy, to be here and to be with you in the Abundance Room, celebrating our lives and our ability to touch more lives through our work, our leadership, Arbonne, and the ability to share pure joy with those around us. I found myself 30 years ago in a very different theater. I found myself, my friends, in a wheelchair in a hospital room. I'd been hanging out in this room for the previous 5 months. And I heard my dad's voice down the hall. My dad was speaking to a nurse, and the question Dad asked was, is he ready? Is he ready? I knew what my dad was asking the question about. It was, is he ready to finally go home after spending 5 months in the burn center? That there had been, Arbonne, some false starts. I wanted to go home bad, so I remember yelling outside of the doorway on morphine. Morphine is like truth serum, okay? It's awesome. So I'm on morphine, and I yell out of that doorway, yes, he's ready. Come get him, Dad. And I hear my dad's heavy footsteps down the hallway. They get closer and closer and closer. He pulls back the double glass door, and then I see my dad walk into my room with a wheelbarrow. And in front of the red wheelbarrow was full of champagne and lifesavers. They were not for me. I see several of you looking at me like, wow, what a drunk he was. No, they weren't for me. They were for the men and women who made their lives a living example for those around them about what pure joy is really all about. He gave it to the corner, celebrating the doctors, the nurses, the staff, the leaders, walked over to me, put his hands on my legs, looked me in the eyes, Arbonne, and this is what my father said. John, you did it. John, you did it. Wait. And I looked back at my dad in that little wheelchair, wrapped with bandages still, bald head, on morphine, and said, yes, I did. And Arbonne, over the last 2 days in Vegas, I have been hugged and cuddled and selfied with about 17,000 of you, and you too have said, John, you did it, and yet what you need to know on the front side of this message is how little of it, Arbonne, I have done. I am, it turns out, the recipient of profound love, amazing grace, and outstanding uplines. And it is that story today that I want to celebrate with you today. Because actually, in truth, it has very little to do with me and what we've done, and everything to do with you, and what a room of 18,000 and a couple 100,000 and bring on Germany because they're coming next, what we can do going forward. So my friends, will it be easy leaving this room, leaving this hall, going back home and building your business and building your best life? Is that easy, yes or no? No, not always. There are struggles. There are challenges. Have any of you ever had a bad day? Some of you were out till 4 a.m. last night. You're having a bad day right now. Don't lie about it, okay? I was next to you in the room next to you when you came in, okay? You are having a bad day. It's okay. When and not if. When and not if we have bad days, we can choose, Arbonne leaders, family, to be victims or to be victors. When we choose to be victims, when we choose to let that day eat us up, we will ask ourselves three questions. What is the victim's favorite question to ask? Woo. Let's start there then. Question number one, to be done with Arbonne, why me? When you get to celebrate life in the abundance room, in this theater, 18,000 family members around you, no reason to be victims to our circumstances. We choose to rise above. So no why me. The second question we may ask though, arms crossed, heart cold. If you have a teenager at home, you've likely heard it recently. Who cares? We won't be asking this question today. And the third one that we will not be asking, not as a victim, is, well, gosh, what more can I do? I'm just one. 17,999 others. Let them do something. It's a big country. It's a big global environment. Let someone else show up and take the next best step. What more can little old me do? But today, Arbonne, as we race through this program and into the possibility of our lives, pure joy, we choose to ask three completely different questions. Questions that will breathe life and possibility into your work, into your relationships, into your sales growth, into your lives. The first question that we victors who are on fire with pure joy choose to ask, and we ask it every day faithfully. It's a good one. Why me? Why am I so lucky? Why am I so blessed? Why Las Vegas? Why the entertainment? Why the celebration that we got to have last night? Were you here for it? Woo! Dude, that was incredible. Why Arbonne? Why have I been mentored and encouraged and loved the way I have? Why do I have the ability to serve those around me? Why me? I am blessed. I am lucky. I have breath in my lungs, eyes to see, ears to hear. I'm going to get out of bed and act like it. It's a great question. The second question that we in this room will ask, my friends, today, tomorrow, then going forward, it's a good one. Who cares if it's hard? And it is hard. We just spoke to this one. It will be a struggle. It won't always be 17,999 other cheerleaders saying, go get it. You will bump into some brick walls. Some of them are spouses and partners and children and parents and neighbors. There are challenges in life, but who cares? We do life that matters. We are part of a vehicle that matters. We're changing the world one life at a time. This is good news. And the third question, Arbonne, that we will be asking today, tomorrow, and then going forward, you know where this thing goes. What is the third question? Oh, a little louder, please. What more can I do to ensure? Don't vaguely, passively hope for it. That's not enough. Hope is not a strategy. What more can I do to ensure that tomorrow is even better than today? Arbonne, leaders, family members, friends, these will be the three questions that guide us toward lunch and beyond. We're going to kick off with the first question, which is, why me? Looking back on your lives, have you ever done anything that you now realize was a big mistake? Okay, let me be more specific, Arbonne. Looking back at last night. Okay, now it just got awkward. Okay? When I was a kid growing up 3.5 hours flight from where we sit here today, I saw little boys in my neighborhood playing with fire and gasoline. What these little boys would do is they would sprinkle some gasoline on a sidewalk, they would strike a match, stand back 2 feet for safety, okay. Throw the match on top, and the gasoline would dance to life. And when you're 9 and you're a boy, this is fun. This is awesome. These are guys you look up to. These are your upline. They're practically men. Okay? I mean, they're 11. You're 9. They have peach fuzz. You still don't have peach fuzz. And you're thinking, if these big, tough, upline guys who are 11 can do this and get away with it, what's the next sentence? So can I, or I can too. So that weekend, my friends, it is on. It is on. Mom and Dad are gone. The house is mine. I walk into the garage. Many of you know where I'm going. Come into the garage, light a piece of cardboard on fire, bend down next to a 5-gallon container of gasoline. The plan, friends, is to pour a little bit of gasoline on top of a burning piece of paper, just like I'd seen others doing, because people are following our steps for better and for worse. It's worth remembering today. They will follow you off an edge if you let them, or they will follow you to the top of the mountain if you let them. I'm following these kids off the edge. Nobody's watching. Bend down next to this can. Before the liquid comes out of it, what shows up first? The vapor, the fumes, the invisible stuff. In life, my friends, it's very seldom what we see coming that burns us. It's not the liquid. It's the fumes. That day, those fumes raced out, grabbed that little flame, pulled it back into the container, created a massive explosion, picked me up, and launched me 20 feet against the far side of the garage. When we were little, Arbonne, we all were taught and trained what to do when we're on fire. What are we supposed to do? What do we actually do when we're on fire? Why aren't those answers the same? Because leaders, and that is each one of you, man, if you hopped in a car or a plane, or some of us came in buses, you came all the way here, you are a leader. You are a leader. Act like it. But leaders, we train up here. Take notes. I see many of you writing things down. Awesome. We train up here, but we lead and we serve, we inspire, we empower, we impact from a much more sacred place. Ooh. We need our minds, there's no doubt about it. And yet our minds are utterly hollow if they're not also backed up with something even more important. Pure joy. It doesn't come up here. It's the mistake so many people make in pursuing it. They think it's going to come up here. Pure joy is right around here. As a little boy, all my knowledge around fire safety was here. Today, and going forward, leaders, I want to make sure all your knowledge, yes, let it come into your mind, but let it take action. Let it activate you through your heart. As a little boy, I got scared. I panicked. I ran on fire through the flames back into my mom and dad's house. Decision that changed my world. Because one moment, I'm a perfectly happy and healthy, and I'd like to zoom in just so everybody can see nice and clear. And it's okay to nod your head. Extremely good looking. For 9. I mean, life is good, man. Look at that haircut. That is either a laser level or Arbonne, what else might it be? That's exactly right. A freaking bowl. That's right. Boom. And that little white thing below his chin, what's that called? The Dickie. Boom. 216 just showed up. Don't Google it, I'll just tell you what it is. A Dickie is the top portion of the turtleneck, man. You hate this thing. But your life is good. The tree is up. Mom and dad are together. Money's not a problem. True retrievers in the backyard. Church on Sundays. Blueberry pancakes afterwards. Fried chicken Sunday nights. Life is good, man. Life is good. And then, Arbonne, this is true for all 18,000 plus. Life changes. I have been fortunate and blessed to speak and communicate through email and Facebook and other channels through many of you. And I've heard story after story of how your life changed. Well, life changes in a flash. One moment, I'm a perfectly happy and healthy little fella, and then it changes. The next picture I'm gonna show you in 6 seconds will be hard to look at. I know some of you are with kids, which is awesome, but you may wanna shut their eyes or your eyes or look away for a moment. I found myself as a 9-year-old on my back with burns on 100% of my body. I am dying. I'm laying there. I'm scared and afraid and mad and sad and looking up at the ceiling, and all I could think as a child is, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. My dad is going to kill me. My dad is gonna kill me when he finds out. He's gonna kill me. How many of you had a disciplinarian growing up? 3 of you. Okay, I struggle believing that 17,997 are just high achievers on your own. You're bootstrappers. Thank you, ma'am. We need our upline. We need our mentors. We need our teachers and our parents and our pastors and our rabbis. We need people to look up to, there's no doubt. One of mine was my dad. Dad was awesome, but Dad was tough. I got in trouble for much less than this one. How many of you ever came home with a bad report card? Okay, every hand should be up. You missed curfew, maybe. You skipped class for a semester, okay? Like little things would trigger our parents, man. What are they gonna do when you blow up the house? Arbon, I knew what my dad was gonna do. My dad's gonna kill me. And then I hear that voice, we've all heard it before, roaring down toward me like a lion. Where is my boy John? I'm thinking, oh my gosh, the old man has come to finish me off. And this nurse does me no favor. She brings my daddy back to where I am. Should have called security, pulls back the curtain, and this old guy walks in, and he was old. He was 41. Is 41 old? Was 41 old? To a 9-year-old, things change. Age has a lot to do with perspective. But Arbon, this is worth noting, so do challenges. I realize all of us have challenges. But again, in context, it has a lot to do with challenges frequently. My dad came in old, I thought. He came in mad, I knew. He walks over to me, points down, and here's what Father said. John, look at me when I'm talking to you. So I look up at my mean dad, and he says, I have never been so proud of anybody in my entire life. And my little buddy, you look at me when I'm talking to you. Today, this morning, I am just proud to be your dad. And then my dad said, I love you. I love you, I love you. And hearing all of this, I'm 9, I crossed my arms, shut my eyes, and thought, oh my gosh, nobody told my dad what happened. I wonder if I can get away with it. You ever been there? Oh, you bunch of liars. Ladies and brothers, men, do you think my dad knew what happened, yes or no? And he's irate. All the way up until the moment when he pulls back this curtain, he walks in, he sees any parent's worst nightmare. A little boy laying there, burned on 100% of his body, dying. He's got 6 kids, but that's his favorite one. True. The truth shall set you free. And my dad changed. Men and women, my dad changed. There are ultimately two things that will motivate you when you walk out these doorways, hop back on those planes or cars or buses, return back to your cities, your towns, your countries. One of them is fear. Fear of failure, fear of letting people down, fear of, just messing up. Fear. Fear is what the media preaches these days. But there's an alternative lens that we in this room choose to view our business and choose to view our life through. The lens of love. My dad came in on fire with fear, and then he shifted immediately into love. It changed him from the inside out, and it changed me. It's the way to build a business, my friends. It's also the way to build a life. My dad came in, he changed, I followed. I think every single morning, we all wake up, in particular when you wake up in Vegas with the same question on our minds and hearts. You ready for it? Here it comes. Jeez, why me? But Arbonne, in the first rows and in the last rows and in the middle rows and in the abundance room, we are victors. We are on fire with love, and we know our business, our products, our family is changing the world one person at a time. This is good news. So we ask this question, why me? Not as victims, but as victors. And today I'd like to give you just a moment to reflect on that question. The mistake we can make is to think that this time together is about John O'Leary's story, and nothing could be farther from the truth. It's about your story, and it's about doing that story even better going forward. Why me? So I'd like you for a moment, a full minute, to make a list of things you're grateful for today. In your mind, many of you have notepads out on that sheet of paper. What are you grateful for today? And as you make that list and move toward the finish line of it in 58 seconds, longest list wins, by the way, make sure that one of the things you write down is a person. Who's one individual, one person who has inspired you to live pure joy? One mentor, one friend, one child, one parent, one rabbi, one pastor. But before you all start this exercise, for me, one of the great ones in my life was my mother. You heard about my dad. I know many of you have read about my mom. But what you may not know about my mother is that I came home from the hospital on a Saturday. On Tuesday afternoon, I'm hanging out in a little wheelchair on morphine, hanging out at home because everybody else is at school. And life is not easy, life is not pain-free, and my doorbell rings. And it's the piano teacher. What's she doing here, Mom? I hated the piano before I got burned. When you lose your fingers, it's not the first instrument you think you're going to take back on, okay? I'm a 9-year-old kid, sad and moping. Why me? Who cares? What more can I do? And my mother invites the piano teacher to come back into our life. My mom answers the door, comes back into the kitchen. Arbonne, she unhooks the brakes. We could spend an hour unpacking that one. Unhook your brakes. Oof. She unhooks my brakes for me because I can't do it for myself. And she starts walking me from the kitchen. Where are we going, Mom? Doesn't answer. Through the family room, all the way back into the living room. I'm on a wheelchair. I have no fingers. It's like they're wrapped in boxing gloves. And my mom is about to make me take a piano class. I hate my mom. And I hated her the following Tuesday when she showed back up. And the following Tuesday. And Arbonne, 5 years of Tuesdays that followed. Now, if you ever visit me in St. Louis, Missouri, you will find a guy who is married. Who is married and has 4 little kids who hate him because he makes them take piano class too. So what I'd like to do for you all, friends, is for you to just take a moment to shut your eyes or grab your notepads or type into your iPhones, why me? Why are you grateful today? What do you ought to be grateful for, in spite of some challenges you may be facing right now? And today I'm going to kind of take a step into my mother's light. This is my mom's favorite song. So I'm going to play my mother's favorite song. I played the piano in Hawaii, leaders. You may remember that song. It was a little bit more rockin'. This song is going to be a little bit more slow, but I think it's going to touch your hearts. This is my mom's favorite song. And it always starts slow. If you haven't started taking notes, take them now, baby. So that is my mom, you guys. Take your seats. That is my mother's favorite song. And it's true in all of our lives. When we open up our hearts and look through pure joy eyes at the gifts that are in front of us each day, in spite, or sometimes, Arbonne, because of the challenges, because specifically. So my friends, we began today by asking the first question that I encourage you to ask as the sun rises in the east, no matter what community you awaken. What's the opening question of your day? Why me? Man, why me? The second question is, who cares? I do, and so should you. And the third question, the one we're going to focus on now, all the way to the finish line. Gosh, what more can I do to ensure tomorrow is even better than today? In my business, start there. It's why we gathered. In my business, in my relationships, in my spiritual journey, in my personal finances, in our communities, what more can I do to ensure tomorrow is even better? A little boy 30 years ago got burned. Go Cubs. That hurts, okay? I thought we had something that hurts. I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, a huge Cardinal fan. And back in the 80s, the way we used to watch baseball was not with our eyes, but with our ears. We used to watch on the radio, and there was this voice of a gentleman named Jack Buck. Jack Buck was my childhood hero. I listened to him all 9 years of my life. Loved him. And then I got burned on a Saturday morning. I'm dying. I'm stretched out in this bed, tied down, can't move, can't breathe on my own. So they put a hole in my neck. What's that hole called? You got a trach. So now you can breathe, but you can't eat or drink or talk. You just lay there and you have one other mighty challenge. The lights have been turned off. You can't see. So you are aware and sad and mad, and you are a victim to it. And occasionally, Arbonne, you come out of the darkness back into the light with a little bit of faith and a little bit of hope and a little bit of curiosity, a little bit of pure joy, the ability to dream and to imagine and to fight, to hope and to pray, to imagine and to hear. Have you ever noticed, my friends, how much more you hear when your eyes are shut? Some of you have been listening beautifully all morning. You're taking it in. I appreciate it. Okay, I like that. When your eyes are shut, friends, and busy, this is important. This is worth noting. Busy people seldom have an opportunity to shut their eyes because they're sprinting through life. I beg you all today to slow down for a moment so you can be more effective as you sprint back into your day. I had months to reflect and to listen and to pause. Get burned on a Saturday, Sunday afternoon. I hear my door open up. Somebody walks in. I hear footsteps. A chair, Arbonne, gets pulled across the floor. And then this voice speaks light into the darkness. And the voice says loud and clear, "Kid, wake up. Wake up." By the way, side note, don't confuse being out of bed with being awake. Don't confuse being in a relationship or being part of Arbonne with being all in Arbonne. Wake up. Look what you got. Look what you got. That's really what he's saying. John, wake up. You are going to live. You are going to survive. Keep fighting. John O'Leary Day at the ballpark will make it all worthwhile. Kid, are you listening? To which my hero replies, "Good, keep fighting." He stands, he walks out, he leaves a little 9-year-old boy tied down in darkness, abundance room. Leaders here, family tuning in on social media, in darkness, absolutely on fire for life. When he walked away, he moved his way down 3 doorways, leaned his head against a glass door, and just started weeping, which we all, of course, know is a sign of great weakness. Yes? I've seen many tears over the last couple days. Tears are not weakness, they are strength. They're signs of love and compassion and courage to be about something bigger than yourself. A man's man, for the brothers in the room and for the ladies, wept, not from a place of weakness, but from a place of great love. Pure joy, in fact. Pure joy is not always smiles. This is worth remembering. One of the nurses walks over to him, kneels down in front of him, looks up and says, "Mr. Buck, are you okay?" What she's really saying is, we can't lose you, okay? You're the only celebrity we got in all of St. Louis. We can't lose you. And the announcer looks down and says, "I'm not sure. The little boy won't make it, will he?" And the expert, the upline, the expert looks up and says, "Mr. Buck, there is absolutely not a chance. It's just his time." When this diagnosis comes into our business, into our nations, into our teams, into our families, into our health, into our relationship, not a chance. What we do next, my friends, matters. What Jack Buck does, it's a great example. He takes it home. He cries, he prays, he reflects, and he journals on one question. What more can I do? The following day, a little boy named John O'Leary is hanging out in darkness, minding his own business, tied down in darkness on morphine by himself. And then his door opens up. I hear footsteps, a chair, a cough, and then a voice. "Kid, wake up." I'm back. You are going to live. You are going to survive. Keep fighting. John O'Leary Day at the ballpark will make it all worthwhile. See you soon. Gets up, walks out, leaves me tied down still. 8-second visits. I guess I'm saying here, Arbonne, Jack Buck was a selfish man. Is that what I'm saying, leaders? Yes or no? What I'm really saying is Jack Buck became so emotionally involved in this thing that every single time he just started weeping about 8 seconds in. So I'm saying two things to you, leaders. One is this: it's okay to show emotion. In fact, the world craves it. The other thing I'm saying to you is in 8-second increments, the man changed my world. I think frequently the reason we don't make a phone call or send off a note or swing by an old neighbor's house or make dinner for an older friend is because it takes so long. 8 seconds changed my world. What I learned years later, and this is cool news for all of us in this room, it also changed his life. It always changes the life of the giver. Jack's life was changed. He encouraged a little boy to fight on, to work through some mighty challenges, to ask the same questions through a different lens, which allowed me to endure 5 months in the hospital, which allowed this little boy miraculously to come home. And then a month later, to be picked up in a Lincoln Town car by a guy named Jack Buck. And we took this thing downtown. That's me on the left. Okay? Jack learns that night that the little boy can't do much, Arbonne. He's struggling. I'm in a wheelchair. I can't get out of it. I can't hold anything with my hands. I've lost my fingers. Jack sees a little boy that can't do anything. He is scarred and broken from his neck to his toes. It's all damaged goods. And if that's all you want to see as you look around your room and you look around your life and you look around your communities, have at it. But there's a different lens that we Arbonne, we who are lit up with pure joy, seek and choose to see our lives through. Pure joy. When you saw that little boy's face, besides the cardinal hat and the neck brace and the wheelchair handle, was there anything else that jumped off at you? Ooh, a big old smile. Jack saw the smile. Pure joy. Pure joy. And the heartache. What he knew, Arbonne, what we all know if we're open to it, is they come together, the good and the bad. Jack takes it home, the good and the bad, cries, prays, reflects, and then the man journals on one question. What more can I do? The following day, he figures it out because each night he journals. And he sends me this baseball. Ozzie Smith was a shortstop for the Cardinals. He became a Hall of Famer. He was one of my boyhood idols. Below that ball was a note from Jack. And the note read, "Kid, if you want a second baseball, all you have to do is send a thank you letter to the guy who signed the first one." Just one problem, Jack. What's the problem? Dude, you can't write. Do you think Jack Buck knew the little boy could not write? Yes or no? So why would he make me do something, my friends, that he knew ahead of time, man, I can't do? To show you you could, to make you. My mom and dad were trying to show me that I could, and they were trying to inspire me and make me. What my mother used to do, leaders and mentors, she used to walk into my room with a little Arbonne pen in her hands. Please. She would try to hand it to me, and she would say, "Baby, when you learn how to write again, you get to go back to school." Does a little boy want to go back to grade school in any language, any country? Probably not. Does a little boy want a second baseball, yes or no? Arbonne, this is key. If you're sitting back right now thinking, man, I hope he makes one good point. This one's for you. Good leadership is about rising up and coming onto the stage and saying, people, rise up. Come up to my level. Be like me, which is good. It's healthy. But great leadership and great mentoring, great love is always, not sometimes, always about coming down. It's about meeting people where they are, in their struggles, in their challenges, in their adversity. Jack came all the way down to the level of a 9-year-old with the one thing that might turn him on. Was it grade school? No. Was it baseball? Yeah. Do you think I wrote the note, yes or no? Yeah. Some of you have read a book called On Fire. There's a quote in there from Viktor Frankl that goes, when you know your why, you can endure anyhow. When you know your why. My why was not grade school, it was baseball as a child. I wrote the note, mailed it off, and 2 days later, I got a second baseball. With a second note that read, kid, if you want a third baseball. Oh yeah, Mom, bring me a pen. An Arbonne pen, Mom. I get it. A couple days later, I'm just chilling out at home. Every Tuesday is a piano class, but besides that, I'm just at home doing nothing. And then another package shows up with another baseball, with another note that says, kid, if you want a third baseball. My friends, are y'all seeing where this is going? Abundance Hall, are you seeing where this is going? Yes or no? Speed it up, O'Leary. We got lunch plans. 1987, a busy announcer sends a little boy 60 baseballs. 60. Teaching me how to write. Changing my life. This is the power when we lead by serving the least among us. And I'm preaching to the choir currently. When we serve those around us, we ourselves become successful. It's just truth, which is good news in this room. Jack taught a little boy how to write, which allowed that little boy to go back to grade school. He backdoored the goal. Grade school, that was followed by 4 years of high school, which was followed promptly by 9 years at college. It's not funny. Somehow, through God's grace, man, you graduate. Who knows how? You graduate. And graduation night love shows up. Many of you have already seen this picture, so this won't shock you. But I never dated. In grade school, middle school, high school, or college. Okay. That is a long drought. Okay? Lord, let it rain. Nothing. And graduation night, leaders, ladies, men, friends, family, all, love shows up. She's gorgeous. Can I show you her picture, yes or no? Here she is, true story. She gorgeous? Who'd you expect? I never said a girlfriend or marriage or the mother of my babies. That will come in God's perfect timing, but we're not quite ready for it. Graduation night, who shows up right on time, is this leader that I have looked up to my entire life. My mentor, my hero, my upline, my buddy, Jack Buck. He shows up with a package and a note. What do you think the first word on the note was? Okay. I'm not sure he ever knew my first name was John. Okay. Kid, this means a lot to me. I hope it means a lot to you too. Enjoy, it's yours. I open up the letter, and then I open up the box, and before I show you what he gave leaders and friends, first you got to understand Jack Buck's favorite question, the one that I think we should end every single day with. What's Jack Buck's question? Anybody want to guess? Now that it's on the screen, anybody else want to guess? How about on the count of three? Tell me what Jack's question was. 1, 2, 3. Man, what more can I do? For those around me, for our community, for the lady, the gentleman, the brother, the sister next to me or back at home because they weren't able to make the trip. What more can I do for Arbonne that has done so much for me? Kid, this means a lot to me. I hope it means a lot to you too. Enjoy, it's yours. Kid, this is the baseball that I received when I went into the Hall of Fame. It's made of crystal. It is priceless. There's only one like it in the entire world. Don't drop it, okay? It's yours. My mentor gave me this priceless gift that changed me from the inside out because finally I can start believing, Arbonne, in my dreams and the ability to build something even bigger than myself. It began professionally, but it's going to change quickly. I imagined as a 22-year-old with Jack's encouragement that I could take old beat-down buildings with weak foundations, pour into it, build these things back up with hands that you may think look broken, but they're not broken. They're just different. And different's not bad. I think different's good. To be able to take something that's a little different and make it shine and make it pop and make this house come to life, so that other people can live there and other people can live better lives because of yours. This should sound very familiar to what each one of you do in this room. It also led a little boy that had very little confidence to believe not only what he can do professionally, but if you've been sitting in this room long enough, you realize how it affects us professionally also affects us relationally. So we show up and we achieve different, bigger, better dreams. For me, one of my dreams was to find someone who could see past my scars and my brokenness, and I found her in this gorgeous girl named Elizabeth Grace. I am blessed with her. I'm also blessed with this man, named after a great upline, Jack. Jack now has a little brother. His name is Patrick. When I'm out of town traveling like I was with you last night, I will be in part tonight. My wife hates when I'm gone. So what she does, I think it's to punish me. She'll take my two handsome little fellas, and then she'll dress them. Wait for it. She calls them smocks, okay? I rip those babies off when I get home, get them back in their gear, tell those boys I love them, and there's nothing they can do about it. Remind those two boys to love their little brother, Henry. And these things just keep showing up in Missouri, I'm telling you, okay? This one's a girl, and this girl's name, appropriately so today, Grace. Her name's Grace. Jack, Patrick, Henry, and Grace. You find, by the way, if you travel too frequently, that two parents who both have dark hair we're going to have two babies with blonde. So I'm going to be back next year, my friends, and we're going to have a breakout on forgiveness. It's going to be awesome. Bring your teams, bring your family members, fill this place up in the Abundance Hall. Arbonne, when you see this picture on all these huge screens, is it hair color that you notice first? No, man. You see a picture of pure joy, of love. You're not looking for the things that divide. You're looking actually at the things that unite. And when I stand in front of you today, I'm not looking at the things that divide. I'm looking at the things that unite, things that break down cultural barriers, things that break down national barriers and language barriers. Arbonne, we are part of something in this room, I think, that is global changing. It's not just about one, it's about many, it's about the world, and you are part of it. It's a big deal. I'm honored to be a part of it today, too. Big news. It leads us, though, from O'Leary's story back to yours. Whew. There's a question I hope you heard earlier. It's the one that Jack Buck finished every single day with, and it's the one that we're going to finish in a moment this conversation with. Anybody want to guess what the question might be? So let's put it on the screen. What more can I do? If you, 18,000 men and women and courageous, intrepid, bold, pure joy leaders can leave Las Vegas with one takeaway, one, to change your business, to elevate your relationships, to inspire you in the community, it was all worthwhile. So I'd like you to grab one takeaway from this session right now, just one. What's one more thing you can do with Arbonne? Your relationships, your spiritual journey. What's one more thing you can do to live each day? Man, pure joy. One thing. So you want to write it down? Awesome. You want to type it in? Awesome. But I would like you to remember it. How many of you, baby, I love you too, okay? How many of you own a cell phone? You will need it. You will need it now. So if you have a cell phone, whether it's off or on, I'd like you to turn it on. Abundance Hall, I want you to turn yours on too. Grab your phones, and ideally what you will do right now is text me your email address. We've created a system specifically for you, Arbonne, that we can capture all of your addresses and then love on you going forward. So the idea is that you will send me your email address to my number. It's locked into a computer today, so don't try calling it. Just your email address. No emojis, no smiley faces, just your email. I want to make sure this works. And then, my friends, we're going to start doing life together. My number is 314-202-5373. 314-202-5373. Your email, send. And then tonight, you'll get your first email. It will remind you a bit about what we chatted about today. It's coming in at 8 o'clock, baby, so look forward to it. Tomorrow morning, early, I hope you're still sleeping, but early, I'm coming back into your life, and we're going to talk a little bit about the question, why me? Why me? On Sunday, we're going to go a little bit deeper with who cares. We're going to unpack mission and values and the ability to touch lives through yours. And then finally, come Monday, when you're back at home, many of us, gosh, what more can I do? This, by the way, all of that is a preview into something we call the studio. This is going to become a way that we can stay in touch week after week and then month after month going forward. You have absolutely transformed my life, Arbonne, and I think this program in studio will absolutely transform yours too. So I encourage you guys and you gals to consider jumping in. You have changed me. Let me tell you a quick story. As life was finally slowing down after John O'Leary wrote a book last March called On Fire. And I know of at least 4 copies. Next slide, please. That were sold in St. Louis. But in July, things started slowing a little bit. And then one consultant. All it takes is one. One consultant held it up and said, hey, ladies and guys, I read this. I encourage you to check it out. And then it was on to the races from there. Yes. The following week, I got a call from our publishing company in New York called Simon & Schuster, and they said, what are you doing? This book is going viral again. And I said, nothing's changed. I had not yet been introduced to Arbonne and to the men and to the women and to the connective tissue that unites you, that elevates you, that transforms your life and those lucky enough to do life with you. It just kept going. Even poolside, baby. And then my friend Ashley hears about it. And your leaders are listening, which is so different than almost any other organization I'm really familiar with. They're listening. They're listening. So Ashley hears about this. Kay hears about this. And they say, you know what, let's bring them out to Hawaii, see what happens. Let's bring them out to Las Vegas and see what happens. And then the buzz keeps going and mounting. Videos start showing up. Celebrities, because of you, Arbonne, start showing up. Huge opportunities because of Arbonne showing up in my life. And it's not over. I wrote a simple thank you letter to my friend Ashley, and I just said, hey, Ashley, do you have any idea how much I love you and your family? Do you have any idea? It was intended for Ashley to read. Ashley uses social media, which is why a week later the thing had been shared 1,000 times. And we kept touching lives. And then I got to meet a couple of you live and in living color. I got to meet my friend Ann. And Ann brought her babies and her mom. And Ann did something besides that. She reminded me of the gift of family, the power of faith, the ability when we make our lives about those around us. Not only at Starbucks that day, but beyond. When I arrived in Las Vegas, Ann was there to greet me with a journal. She gave me this book. What she had no idea is that year I had committed on the front side of 2017 to one specific goal. I want to be my wife's champion this year. I want to be her biggest cheerleader. And I wasn't exactly sure how to do that. But in the back of my mind, I knew, gosh, what if I journaled a love letter every single day to Beth? What if I actually, instead of, this is important, instead of looking for what was wrong with her or our kids or our household or whatever, and I think we're all guilty of this from time to time, what if I only looked for what was good about Beth and what was beautiful about her and how she was serving those around us? And what if I identified it and acknowledged it and dated it? I got this in Hawaii, and for the last 97 days consecutively, I have written my bride a love letter because of Arbonne. And on Christmas Day 2017, she's gonna get this big old leather-bound journal, having no idea what's inside of it. She's gonna open it up and say, January 8th, 2017, Beth. And then it's on from there. And I explained to her where I got this journal and the men and women, and Ann, who gave it to me. The love that I felt that day, the love that I want her to feel from me. So what I'm sharing with you right now, she has no idea. So you may not post this online, okay? Just between the 18,000 of us. If, by the way, you choose to come into the studio, not only will you get the content monthly, but I'm also gonna send you a journal too, because I know the power of journaling. And my wife is about to experience it, and I want each one of you ladies and gentlemen, wherever you live, to also grab onto it. It is powerful to be a little bit better each day. And it doesn't stop there. You guys and you gals keep sending us messages through social media, and we get them, and we read them, we watch them, we're moved by them. I recently received a video. Some of you may be aware of this, but Arbonne does incredible work in its communities globally. So I watched this video about the work that you are now doing also in Haiti, that some of you learned. Some of you learned that after the earthquake, it was utter devastation. And yet, what if one person by one person by one person took ownership and said, we can do it better. We can change lives through ours. And so the journey has begun, and through the gift of Arbonne, through the gift of your products and your passion, my friends, you're changing these communities. You see one of the pictures up there. Next slide, please. You're building schoolhouses and hospitals. You're touching lives profoundly. This is you. So here's where I want to leave it today. We are launching in studio this month. We have a community of a couple 100,000, and we have this community in this room today. For the first 3 months, anybody who comes in, we are giving 100% of the profits right back to Arbonne, the charitable fund, so that you can go on, you can touch lives in Las Vegas, in Haiti, in Germany, and around the world, one by one. We will bust down the walls, and we will remind our neighbors that the best is yet to come. God bless you guys. Have an awesome day. Thank you. Thank you.